Hey everyone, I'm Pacific and welcome to my first commentary video on my vlog channel that's fucking dead, but that's okay. We're gonna not worry about that. Today I'd like to talk about how fucking expensive it is to live as a young person in the United States. Because I hear people talk about it all the time, and I read articles and people talk about it, but no one ever explains numbers, right? Now, numbers are kind of hard to gauge because you have to really watch prices. Now, me, is very fucking frugal and really likes to keep track of like expenses and stuff. And this is what people mean. I have an example here that shows what people mean when they talk about millennials. If you don't know, like wage stagnation, inflation, millennials never being able to retire, Gen Zers never being able to retire, all that kind of stuff. I have some examples here. So where I live, I'm on Zillow right now, which is fucking terrible source, but where I live, apartments, no fucking houses, okay? There's a house on here that's fucking $2,000, but apartments that are less than 800 square feet, yep, so 700 square feet, apartments that are for one person is $1,200. Two people is $1,300. So 2-bedroom apartments are $1,300, okay? The average that you make per hour where I live is $16. And after all the taxes, your take home is $10 an hour. Which you might say, okay, cool, $10 an hour. Do the math in your quick real head. Think like 40-hour work week. You work, there's 4 weeks in a month, right? If you do the math on 40 hours of work week and 4 weeks in a month, your take-home pay is $1,600, okay? So if you lived in a studio apartment by yourself, taking home $1,600, that does not include health insurance, by the way, you are paying $1,200 out every month to live in a 600 square foot fucking shitty apartment, okay? Where I live, there's no amenities, okay, that warrant paying that much. The closest town, right? So if you live in town, right? This is fucking stupid. If you live in town, the closest kind of, shall we call it, place of interest, town with even remotely interesting things to do, is about hour and 15 minutes away, okay? The actual, then, we're in Washington, then you get to places like Seattle, which are 2+ hours away, which actually have stuff to do. And it's so stupid how fucking shit here, like literally think about this. You make $1,600 a month, okay? You pay $1,200 for rent. How the fuck are you supposed to make $400 work for gas, food, car, phone, utilities, right? Furniture, so even with 2 people, think about 2 people living, right? Let's say you both make $1,600. That's $3,200, okay? And then that $1,200 goes into rent, all right? You have to pay for food. So, unless you want to eat absolute trash food, which I'm telling you, like the rice and beans and ramen and potatoes diet, or like sometimes you have chicken, but most of the time it's eggs. You're probably going to be paying out of your $2,000 that are left to live off of, in between $600 and $1,000 on food, because food is actually that fucking expensive. And then you also have to get, your car, your phone, your utilities, 2 cars, because you have to drive everywhere, and gas is like $3.50 a fucking gallon here, okay? Like, I'm telling you, when I worked at the old people home, I had to fill up my car 3 times a week. It was $120, or not a week, a month, sorry. $120 a month, right? So assume that's 2 people, that's $250. So you spend your $1,200 on rent, your $1,600, let's just say fuck it, $750 on food, $250 on gas. You are now left with $1,000 to pay for utilities, phone bills, which are fucking expensive here. You're probably going to be paying for those 2 people another $100 in phone bills at least, okay? Then you have $900 left to basically set aside for both of you, you know, paying for things that you might need. You know, a lot of, you know, going to theaters and stuff like that's out of the question. Okay, think about, like, I'm a gamer, right? I gotta upgrade my computer every 2 years. I gotta fix my car. You know, you gotta save money to fix your car. I have to fucking be able to play video games. I either buy a console or upgrade my computer, which is getting expensive. Anything outside the realm of eating very low quality food is expensive. Now, let me explain about wage stagnation, okay? $16 an hour might sound like a lot, but here's the thing. So 2 years ago, the wage that everyone paid. Now, mind you, this $16 an hour is caregivers, not nurses. I think a lot of construction jobs pay a little more than $16 an hour. Any sort of fast food, retail, 7-Eleven, you know, shitty jobs like that. And this is also during COVID, you know, and if you know anything about Washington State, you know that people made more money on unemployment than minimum wage. Even though minimum wage is $13.50, it's really $16 where I live. People made more money on unemployment than fucking working at a job, you know. So anyways, so last year or 2 years ago, it was $15, right? $15 an hour. It's like, okay, you know, let's think about that for a second. The difference between $15 an hour and $16 an hour is a wage increase of 6%. Okay? Now, I believe that inflation is about 2 to 3% every year. So it's really like, you're like, okay, the wage is keeping up with inflation, right? But then I went to the store and I noticed something. The price of chicken where I live, mind you, this is the cheap quality chicken. The price went up from $3.50 a pound to $4 a pound. That is an increase of 12%. So your wage went up by 6%, but the price of chicken, which is something that I keep my eye on because I buy it a lot, went up by 12%. Bacon also went up by about, I think, 12 to 15% where I live in the past 2 years, which is fucking ridiculous, okay? Because now you have a situation, and also rent, by the way, has gone up from 2 or 3 years ago being $1,000 to now this like $1,200, right? You're not making an extra $200 a month on minimum wage. So basically, they're like, okay, minimum wage is gonna go up by 6%, okay? We're gonna take rent, bump it up by 20%, right? Because that's $1,000 to $1,200, it's 20% for a single person. And we're going to take the price of chicken and bacon and let's do another 12% there. You know, it's like, dude, are you actually stupid? Like, do you not see the problem here? So that's why if you ever have a boomer parent or you deal with fucking people that think people are lazy, dude, no, it's ridiculous. It's impossible to, like, that the American dream of, you know, you work a job. Most of these places know you're replaceable, so you don't even stay at a job. I think actually nowadays it's more valuable to switch jobs. I think like every year or something like that, than actually stick with a job. So you're not going to stay in a job, right? You already can't afford things, and then things are getting more expensive for the same exact fucking thing. Actually, it's worse because a lot of these apartments, right? I've been in these apartments, really don't get improved. All right. My girlfriend and I live in a house that was made in the 80s and nothing has been improved. In fact, we are like fixing it. That's why, like, you saw this random ass shit in my room. You know, you go around like there's stuff here. It's because we move things in here so that we can fix other parts of the house, because that's the only way that, like, we can't afford like a millennial or a Gen Z, even someone that's probably been working for like 30, 40 years. Maybe, or not 30, 40 years, who's 30 or 40, probably can't even afford, you know, a decent living for sacrificing 20 years of your life. Because I think a lot of people forget, a 40-hour work week, if you include, you know, even if you do it remote so you don't have the commute, right? Like, even though it's 40 hours a week, you're forced to skip out on visiting families, skip out on visiting friends. You are forced to get up in the morning and make your breakfast, make brush your teeth, do all the bullshit that you do every morning. You know, it's like over half of your life is dedicated to fucking work. It feels like. And what do you get out of it? You can barely survive if you live someplace with someone else. You have to live with someone else. It doesn't fucking matter if it's a studio apartment. You have to live with someone else. It really feels like to me, I have a journal of this. I feel like the maybe not Gen X, right? But the way that boomers, and I say boomers as someone that doesn't know jack shit about how economies work, okay? I just see the price of chicken and gas. By the way, gas went up by a whole dollar, so it went up by like 33%. I forgot to include that. I'm someone who sees minimum wage go up, and then the price of chicken, rent, gas, bacon go up even more than minimum wage, right? So this is my perspective. I just see like the economy is like, all right, the boomers have all the money and they don't want to give it up, so let's enslave the millennials and the Gen Zs. They just have to fucking work. They have to work their shitty jobs, and we're gonna not fix anything, you know? Fuck the climate, fuck the money, fuck the millennials. I don't want to fucking share my wealth with someone that stares at their phone all the time, you know? Fuck you. And I know it's even worse because I heard this stat on the internet. Now, always be careful about stats on the internet, okay? But it's from someone I trust named Optimus. And I think it was Optimus? Fuck. Okay, take the stat with a huge grain of salt. Of all the millennial dollars, Mark Zuckerberg has 1 out of every $40 that a millennial earns has. So if you take away people like the Zuck, right? Bezos, if you take away Elon Musk, if you take away all of the rich people that like don't fucking live like the rest of us, our situation's worse than the stats show. You know? So yeah, if you ever wonder why, I watched this video. If you watch Louis Rossmann, he lives in New York. I watch a lot of Louis Rossmann videos, and when GameStop to the moon and Dogecoin to the moon stuff was going on, he made a video titled "Why People Do It," because it's really, if you think about it, it's really dumb to put all your money on this stock and then it's gonna like, it has a chance of either, okay, it might double, that's cool, or it might go to zero and you lose all your money. Why do people YOLO, you know, $50,000, $100,000 into this? And it's because we don't see any other way out. Like, I don't see, unless I do something where I work my 40-hour-a-week job, then I like work on some side project for an additional 40 hours. Fuck my social life. Fuck my hobbies. Fuck. I actually like work on a skill that I think is not going to be automated in 10 years, right? Like accounting, don't do fucking accounting. Trucking, I mean, maybe, but it seems like that's about to get automated, you know? Being a fast food worker, dude, you're so fucked. All right, robots and shit are taking the jobs. Like, that's the only way it seems to even get money, right? Because here's another thing I want you to think about. Going back to this rental thing. If something's $1,000 a month, right? Let's say you're me, right? Something is $1,000 a month. And if you base, you know, let's say you live in an $1,000 a month apartment and you want a house, right? That's, I don't know. Back then, I think mortgages were like $1,400 a month on some decent houses, right? So it's like, okay, you want a house, right? Cool, just save up your money for down payment. Well, then all of a sudden, and I could see my house's value appreciated. My girlfriend's house it's my girlfriend's house. Her house is appreciating in value, you know. In 5 years, the house's value has gone up by 40%. So think about that. The house's value goes up like 10% every year, okay? Think about that. 20%. So the house's value goes up by 5% every year, okay? Meanwhile, your wage isn't going up by 5% every year. How the fuck are you supposed to buy a house if you can't already? How the fuck are you supposed to rent a slightly less shitty apartment if minimum wage is like not going up at the same rate as everything else? I think I've made my point. I'm sorry. I've got a lot of thoughts and I'm just like spewing them at the camera. I get very heated about this, which is kind of funny because in real life, I don't talk to people about this kind of stuff because I don't really like talking to people about it. Because I find that most of the people, this shows my choice in people to talk about politics and stuff. Most of the people I talk to politics about, if I ever do, actually I believe are actually really bad listeners. Because I always pick the wrong people. Because I'll say something they disagree with, and instead of asking why, they'll, instantly just shoot it down like I don't know. So that's my rant today. That's why if you want a real example of why millennials and Gen Z people can't afford things, dude, where I live, in 2 years, minimum wage went up by 6%. Meanwhile, everything went up by 12, 15. Gas went up by 30%. Like, dude, how the fuck are you supposed to pay for that? And this is also, by the way, in a town where unless you're a nurse, right? Which I've seen the type of houses nurses live in, for what they have to deal with, I don't think it's worth it, unless you really want to. But I genuinely think that nurses don't get paid enough. So, but unless you're a nurse or where I live, there's a decent amount of military personnel. Unless you're military or a nurse, which either way you are then signing off your life to do jobs, right? So unless you sign away like 16 hours a day, 5-6 days a week, you're not going to be able to live in something that's more than a shit shack, something that's more than, a 700 square foot apartment that you don't even get to yourself, like a studio apartment. You can't afford to have a studio apartment by yourself. It's impossible. So that's all I got for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, let me know in the comments below. What's your opinion? All right, is there a type of situation going on where you live? Because hopefully this situation that happens to me where prices go up faster than wages do, minimum wage, mind you, right? Minimum wage is supposed to be the minimum. All right, you can't just survive on minimum wage. You need 2 or 3 sets of minimum wages to just survive. All right. Plus, if you're in fucking college, I didn't even get to that. If you're in fucking college and owe debt, fuck that. So, I'm Pacific Casual Gamer. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you want me to talk about something else. Because, fuck if I know. I'll see you in the next one.